Donna Lewis here. Happy Friday. I'm going to just wait a moment and hopefully some of you are going to come on here. I really am eager to hear your input on this and learn from one another. I just want to share some of my experiences in dealing with narcissistic abuse, dealing with co-parenting when your co-parent likes to push your buttons and you tend to respond, i.e., that was me. My co-parent really loved to push my buttons, and I had little to no defenses against it. So I am actually unique in that I can share what didn't work for me and also what I learned through failure. So, in other words, you can learn from my mistakes. There are certain elements to the narcissistic personality that I was not aware of when I was in the position of having to co parent. And had I known these things, I would have done 1,000 times better. And my children would have definitely benefited from this knowledge because I would have been a much calmer parent, a much less reactive parent. The one thing I can say that I did do correct, and I am going to definitely admonish that you follow this, and that is social media. Social media. Uh, you've got to be so careful. But again, I'm very eager to have y'all participate in this discussion. So if you're in the midst of having to co-parent with um, a person who likes to push your buttons, so in other words, if your co-parenting partner is someone who really enjoys pushing your buttons, jump on here now. If you know somebody or you have a loved one who is having to co-parent with somebody who pushes their buttons, have them jump on here. Leave your comments, leave your feedback, leave your experience. So yes, I was in the position of having to co-parent with a person who knew my buttons and knew how to push those buttons and get a reaction out of me. Had I known what I know now, oh man, it would have been worth every amount of money I had. I'm serious. I wish I knew then what I know now. I understood that I was in the middle of something that was bigger than me. I understood that. I just didn't know what to do about it. I didn't know what I was dealing with. I didn't know what kind of personality I was dealing with. And honestly and truthfully, that is probably 99% of your battle right now, is understanding who you're dealing with. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you have to co-parent with that person, and it almost seems like they've got smart missiles aimed at your heart, you wanna tune into this. You wanna tune into this. I am just gonna give you some of my hindsight 2020, and feel free to ask me any question, truly, any question. And I'm just going to be completely transparent with you. You see, as I'm on social media and I see people going through this, I'm like, oh man, Oh my gosh. And honeys, I see you stepping into traps. That's one reason why I'm doing this today. I see you walking headlong into these traps. And I'm wanting to offer you my experience and offer you what I wish I had known when I was walking through this too. Number one, there is a certain personality that enjoys watching you react. And no one else may be able to see what they're doing but you. And that's the point. That's the point. These personalities know how to customize their assault on your emotions to get exactly the desired response you are providing them. And co-parenting is fertile soil for that. When you're forced into co-parenting through court orders with this personality, you are in the world's toughest position because your attacker has fertile soil to hit you, and you're walking in this blind. Your first tool is to get savvy, get educated, know what you're dealing with. If you can prepare your heart ahead of time and go into this eyes wide open, you're starting off on the best footing possible. I want to recommend a couple of different resources for you, and I've posted them on my personal page, and I'll post them again. One of them is called Surviving Narcissism. Surviving Narcissism. They have a full arsenal of tools to learn how to cope, to manage your emotions, and to have productive strategies in place for how you're going to co-parent. My biggest piece of advice for you is don't give them your buttons. Don't give them access to your buttons. And you do this by not offering them anything. In other words, if they say, "How was your day?" when you're dropping the kids off, just say, "Fine." Not great, not awful, fine. It was a day. Here's the kids. It was a day. Susie has a doctor's appointment at 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. It was a day. Susie has a parenting meeting with her teacher tomorrow at 3. How was your day? Fine. Susie has a dental appointment. How was your day? Susie has a math assignment due tomorrow. Make sure she does 1, 3, and 5, right? Business only, no emotion. You see, personalities that like to push your buttons thrive on you reacting with any kind of emotion whatsoever. You can't offer them the tiniest bit of emotion, not happy emotion, not sad emotion. They call it a blank rock. Think of Mr. Spock. And you know, the thing is what's really hard for people like you and I is we're emotional creatures, right? We have very animated emotions. When we're happy, we're really happy. When we're sad, we are really sad. So this is very difficult. This is very difficult for people like you and I. But it's 100% necessary. Hey, I see ya. Just give me a shout out. Let me know who's watching right now and where you're watching from. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we're just talking about walking through and overcoming when we're in having to co-parent or be involved with a toxic person. When going 100% no contact is impossible, right? Now, my first recommendation when you're dealing with people who love pushing your buttons is to just go no contact. Don't give them your buttons to begin with. Just don't even be in contact with them. It is perfectly okay to do that. If you have that ability, do it. Do not engage. The first rule of engagement when dealing with narcissistic abuse or a toxic personality that thrives off pressing your buttons, don't give them the buttons. Just don't give them the buttons. Don't give them access. If you can do that, do it. And I have done that with people that just enjoy pressing my buttons. Don't give them the buttons. But if you're in the position like I was, hey, Sue, that's right. Walk away. Walk away. Don't give them the buttons. Sue, awesome. Awesome. Sue is both a chaplain and has been a life coach. So she's a skilled individual in this area. Yeah. Understand when you are dealing with a person who loves pushing your buttons, walking away is definitely your first option. But if you're in the position of having to co-parent with them, don't give them anything other than business. In other words, time and date of vital appointments, like if the kids have a doctor's appointment, if they have a parent-teacher meeting, if they have a special education appointment, if they have a baseball game or a softball game, right? Yes, yes, yes. It completely frustrates the other person. Retain your personal power. That's right. That's right. You know what just came to my mind, Sue, is that your emotions belong to you and you only. They belong to you and they're sacred. They're sacred. They're sacred between you and the Lord and you and key loving relationships that you are involved with. They don't belong to people who are going to trample them underfoot. So don't give it to them. Don't give it to them. Stick to business only. Straight up business. Time, date. Time, date. Yes, we have a God who emotes. That's right. That's right. That's right. The other key that I'm seeing people walk into, a trap that I see people, and this is a very dangerous trap, my friends, and that is social media. When you are co-parenting, keep your emotions off social media. And I am going to tell you why. It could result in you losing your children. I kid you not. The courts have a right to review every post you make on social media. If you end up in a custody battle, they will subpoena your social media and they will pick over it with a fine tooth comb. And they will use everything you have posted against you. Do not vent your emotions on social media, period. If you are co-parenting with someone who wants to push your buttons. And I see y'all walking into this trap, and it breaks my heart. You got to understand how deadly this is. They will use your posts against you. Don't vent there. You need a place to safely vent. Yes, because your heart is breaking. I get it. I do. And my heart hurts for you. But when you are co-parenting, social media is not the place for it. Post your happy birthday pictures. Post your vacation pictures that are neutral, pretty sunsets, pretty flowers, things like that. But when it comes to any kind of conflict that you've engaged with your co-parent in, if it's any kind of hurt that your co-parent has caused you, if it's any kind of drama that's going on between you and the children or you and the children's parent, it cannot go on your social media. It cannot. It cannot be tweeted. It cannot be Facebooked unless you expect it to be used against you in a custody battle. Think of the Miranda rights. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Custody battles are a court of law, and anything you've posted on social media is fair game. It's fair game. So please, 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 with all my heart, I'm begging you, keep your drama off social media. You're going to be glad you did. And anything you've posted in the past, delete it. Get it off there. Get it off there. And the way they use it is to show that maybe you're unstable or that you're speaking bad about the other co-parent. Because these are two areas they can use in a custody battle to gain full custody of the children. And you love your children. They're your heart. So please, 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 I'm begging you, don't vent your hurt feelings on social media. Have a safe place that you can vent those hurts. Have a support group that you go to. There are confidential groups on social media you can become a part of, and you can vent there where it's completely confidential. But if it's your public Facebook page, that can be subpoenaed. So be aware of that and protect your heart. Protect your heart. It belongs to you. It belongs to the Lord. So please, don't vent your hurt feelings to your kids. Yes, yes, yes. This is another key point that Sue is making. Your kids also have access to that social media. So when you vent your feelings on that, Your kids are seeing it. And when you're at home with them, this is so hard, you guys. And trust me, I was imperfect about this because your feelings are raw. You've just gotten off the phone with your co-parent. Your kids are standing around your feet, and they see that. They see that. And they see that you're hurting. They see that you're stressed. Uh, yes, this is so good. This is so good, Sue. Amen. Yeah, this is again where getting healthy support around you is vital to you walking through this with grace and truth. Grace and truth. Have a safe place to vent your emotions away from your children's view. And when you fall down and display your emotions in front of your children, it's totally human. Don't beat yourself up for it. Apologize to your children. Apologize. Just say, hey, mama was just having a really bad day. And I'm very sorry that you had to see that. It wasn't okay. I was upset. I'm going to go get myself together, and we're going to get back into love. We're going to get back into love. And then, your kids can see how we overcome a bad day, right? We teach our kids how to overcome a bad day, a bad moment in health, in grace, and in truth. Oh, Sue, what, any other advice? The other element Sue's really great at is spiritual warfare. And this is definitely spiritual warfare. When you're working with somebody who loves to push your buttons, it is spiritual warfare. And we got to armor up. Armor up. I saw a scripture today. It was up on my Bible Gateway or Bible YouVersion app. It was the verse of the day, and it was so appropriate for this. And it's 1 Corinthians. I'm going to wait for it to come up here. 1 Corinthians. Let's see here. Let's just bring it up. Here we go. Be on guard. Stand firm in your faith. So be on guard. You've got to be ready for this. You've got to assume you're in the middle of a battle, because you are in the middle of a battle. And you've got to assume the enemy is going to work through your co-parent who likes to push your buttons to get a rise out of you and get you to fall off your game, right? So be on guard. Stand firm in your faith. Be mature. This is so hard. This is so hard when you're in the middle of this. Oh man, you want to be mature. You're like, yeah, I want my big girl pants on. I want to be the mature adult in the room. But it is tough when you've got this person just going, pew, pew, and you right at your heart constantly. So you gotta armor up and put your game face on and be ready for battle. And it's be strong in the Lord. Allow his strength to cover you. Allow his power to fill you. And be courageous. Be courageous. I love the new Wonder Woman. There is that new Wonder Woman movie out, and she's armored up and she's courageous. She's tender of heart and compassionate, but strong and courageous. That's who God has designed you to be in this hour. And let everything you do be done in love. This is 1 Corinthians 16, 13, and 14. Be strong. Be courageous. Be filled with faith. Operate in love. And it's loving to not give them your buttons. It really is. It's very, very loving to not provide your buttons, to not provide those buttons to somebody who's going to misuse them. Stick to business and don't give the enemy an opportunity. Yes, trust the Lord to fight your battles, says Sue. His ways won't look like our way. That is so right on. His ways are higher than our ways. That's so good, Sue. That's so good. And again, honeys, I am speaking from my failure here, okay? I am not speaking from someone who did it right. I am allowing you to learn from my mistakes. I learned the hard way not to do these things. The one area I was good at was not putting my business on social media. I didn't put it out there. My lawyers that I worked with cautioned me against it and warned me as to why. And I did follow their advice, and thank God for that. Thank God for that. They did subpoena my journals, my personal private journals. But guess what? Everything in my personal private journals was prayers for my co-parent and my kids. So they got nothing. You know, learn from my mistakes. Where I fell short was that every time I had to have a meeting with that co-parent of mine, every time I was called into a lawyer's meeting, every time I was called into a custody hearing, that I had to be in the same room with him, I let him push my buttons. I let him push my buttons. I didn't know what was going on. Ignorance became his playground. My ignorance became his playground. So I'm wanting to provide you with knowledge and my personal experience, and things I wish I'd known that I know now. There wasn't as much information out there on this type of personality when I was going through it. People were just learning about this type of personality. Oh yes, let's see here what Sue's got. Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? This is so good. Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid, nor dismayed, depressed, disheartened. For the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Amen. So good. So good. And this is truth, my friends. And even when we fail, because we're going to fail, we're not going to get it right every single time. God's going to take that and use it for his glory. He will use it for his glory. He will use it and do marvelous, wonderful things. And there is no mistake that is fatal out there. There's no mistake that is fatal. God will take every single one of our failures, and when we allow him, turn it around for his glory. It'll be used to help someone else. I'm using my mistakes and what I learned from those mistakes to be something to build you up today. Like I said, there is a lot of excellent information out there to build you up and help you understand what it is you're dealing with and build strategies to walk in faith, hope, and love. Yet, Sue here. Yes, you can't argue with an angry person. That's right. You can't. Stay calm in your logical brain. That's right. Oh, amen to that. Anger takes you to fight or flight. That's right. That's so good. This is so good. It takes you to that, and I never pronounce it right, but it's the amygdala, which is your survival mechanism in your brain. And the amygdala does not reason, it simply reacts. It either runs or it wants to put its dukes up and fight. You can't make a good decision when you're in your amygdala. You can't make a good decision from that perspective. You've got to take a step back, separate yourself from the situation, and breathe so that you can access your frontal lobes. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Sue. Oh, thank you. These are things I've learned the hard way. See, that's when they're pressing your buttons, they're trying to send you to your amygdala, that primitive part of your brain that is strictly survival. They're trying to send you out of your frontal lobes, which is where you do all your rational thinking, and throw you right back here to where you can't make a good decision. Thank you, Sue. And this is something I wish I understood. I remember walking out of a co-parenting meeting with my kid's dad, and I had just emotionally vomited all over that meeting. And my husband Jade had been in there, and he was like, Donna, we were in the car together, and he was like, Donna, you can't act this way in these meetings. You can't let him get to you like this. And I knew Jade was right, but I didn't know what to do about it. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand the mechanics of what was going on. If I had I could see what was happening, but I couldn't piece together. I couldn't piece together the strategy that my co-parent was using against me. I couldn't understand why I kept walking into their trap every single time. And this is where, if I had just had the tools in front of me that I have now, I would have done so much better. So much better. Knowledge is power. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. and get into good support systems, healthy support systems that can build you up, strengthen you, pray with you, go to war with you. And avoid those relationships that feed your anger, that um, trigger your anger. Because, like Sue said, allowing yourself, it's be angry, but sin not, right? You're in an unjust situation. So your natural inclination is going to be angry at the injustice. You want to vent your anger in a healthy way, in a safe environment, so that you can walk in peace, love, and a sound mind. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and just sum up here. Sue is a great resource. Sue, is it all right if people contact you? Awesome. Oh, thank you, Sue. Yeah, Sue, if it's all right for people to contact you, go ahead and say that, or give your contact information that's okay for them. I know Sue is a prayer warrior. She's a chaplain. She's educated. She's compassionate. She's been through it. So I can't speak highly enough for Sue. She's awesome. And there's other really great resources out there. I'm going to, again, Surviving Narcissism is like an online handbook for you. Oh, thanks, Sue. Thanks, Sue. But anyway, this Surviving Narcissism is a great resource. I wish it was there when I was going through this, because it would have been my absolute go-to before I walked into any situation of co-parenting. I would have been beefing myself up on their information before I walked through those doors. I'm telling you, they're saving lives. They really are. They're saving hearts and minds with the information they put out there. And again, if you're wanting prayer, I'm here to pray with you. And the other thing is, do not vent on your public social media platforms. Don't tweet. Don't Facebook. Don't TikTok. Just have a safe, confidential place when you need to break down. And believe me, it's totally okay to break down. Just break down in a safe, confidential place. Yes, praying for your enemy will guard your heart and keep from being bitter and toxic yourself. Very good, Sue. That's right. That's right. Praying for your enemy, blessing them. That's right. Blessing, not cursing. And the thing is that trains you, that trains your spirit to walk in compassion and walk in release of bitterness. I know a lot of people just release of bitterness. You want to release that bitterness and always be walking in a preparedness for forgiveness. preparedness for forgiveness, and an expectation of forgiveness. That expectation of forgiveness, that forgiveness is going to flow. Forgiveness is going to flow. And again, be angry. You know, when you're in an unjust situation, it's totally legit to be angry at the injustice, but you cannot allow anger to be your dominant emotion here. You've got to walk in a readiness to forgive, walk in a readiness of peace, and to give peace. And know that God's got the victory in this. He has the victory in this. So anyway, folks, I hope this blessed you. Sue, thank you for your awesome feedback. It's so good to see you. And for participating in this conversation. Love you guys much. Give me a shout out. Go ahead and leave your comments, like, share, and respond. Love you much, and we'll see you again on Monday. God bless. Love you too, Sue.